talk to you from the subject this morning or this afternoon, from the subject of hiding in baggage claim. Hiding in baggage claim. One thing I love to do, that's one of my pastimes, and I try to do it at least 2 or 3 times a year, is travel. I try to go to various places, not only in the States, but also out of the States. And in order to do that expeditiously, I learned that you need to fly. Now, flying is something that I didn't really enjoy doing when it first occurred. I used to be afraid of flying, but now I've been flying so much that now I've just become accustomed to it. And a few times I've flown. I've had, and you've probably had the experience when you go to the kiosk, when you go to the desk to get your tickets in order to get on a plane. They ask you, do you have any baggage? Ask you, do you have any baggage? And when you tell them, yes, you have baggage, they'll write out a ticket for you. They'll write out a ticket for you with your name on it, and it will have your name and your flight number and your destination. And you take that ticket and you wrap it around one of the handles or the handles of your baggage, and you take it and you either give it to them or you give it to somebody in baggage. Baggage people. Now, I haven't had some of the best luck when traveling, because there was a few times where I went to baggage claim and my bags weren't there. Has anybody ever had that experience when you go to baggage claim and you're sitting and you're looking at the conveyor and everybody's happy to get started with their vacation? They got their Uber driver waiting for them. They got the limousine or the guy with the iPad with the name on it, with a nice Cadillac waiting for him, but you're the last one there because your bag didn't make it through baggage claim. But I've come to the realization of something from a spiritual aspect relating to baggage claim, because I realized that airlines lose and spend over $1.6 billion a year in retrieving baggage claim. And I realized spiritually, sometimes we come to a point in our lives where God takes us to a destination, and sometimes we go to the spiritual baggage claim and our bags aren't there, but I realize it's for a reason. I don't think y'all heard me. See, sometimes when God takes you to a new destination, you're waiting for your baggage to come because you want to bring things with you from your previous destination that God did not intend for you to bring in your new destination. Baggage claim. But what we do in life is we get attached to so many things. And we get in these ruts, and God is calling us to a new dimension. God is calling us to do something bigger, better, and brighter, but we get stuck at baggage claim. God's got the limo outside waiting for you. He's got the driver outside, and it says the kingdom of heaven, I've got work for you to do, and your name is written on it, and the angel is outside of the airport waiting for you, but you're still stuck waiting for your bag in baggage claim. This story behind Saul leading up to how he met Samuel before he was anointed was an interesting one. See, unlike David before he was anointed king, Saul was one people would probably say in their hearts, Saul looked like a king. What does a king look like? The Bible says that he was tall and he was extremely handsome. Pastor Stewart. The Bible says that in the ninth chapter of 1 Samuel that he was so handsome. I mean Billy D, Denzel, the Barge brothers, the boxer and Creed. I mean, none of these handsome guys had nothing on Saul. I mean, Saul he was a bad man. I mean, he was handsome. I mean, he had groupies. I mean, he had women just falling all over him. The Bible says, I didn't say, the Bible says that he was extremely handsome. He's tall, dark, and handsome. So you can preach this. Help me preach this thing. I didn't say, the Bible says that he was extremely handsome. I mean, this was a good-looking man. I mean, he probably had nice silky hair. No, he probably had muscles bulging out of his shirt. I mean, it says he was, I'm just trying to envision extremely handsome. It says that he was extremely handsome, and the Bible says that there was nobody else that even came close to how he looked. Now David, on the other hand, was a little scrawny guy. Mm-hmm. And not only was he scrawny, Reverend Silly, but his profession was he was a sheep herder. He was a shepherd. He was tending among the sheep. They said when they found him, he was tending to his father's sheep. So this means that he got his hands dirty. His nails was dirty. He probably smelled like sheep. And you know what he smelled like. He didn't smell good. He didn't have a nice suit on. He didn't work at Wall Street. He wasn't, nice, prim and proper. David was a man. He was almost like a man that worked at the junkyard. I mean, he was, I'm bringing it up to 2018. I'm going to bring you up to date. So David was this little scrawny guy, and he was a shepherd, a herder. You ever see Coming to America, right? Yes. And remember when McDowell, the father, had found out that Eddie Murphy, the prince, that he was actually a prince. Remember, initially he was working for Mr. McDowell. But Mr. McDowell was in love with Darryl. See, because Darryl had all the money. Darryl was heir to the throne of Soul Glow. And when the prince was coming through and he would mop the floors of Mr. McDowell, he was trying to get close to him because he had heard from the barbershop, from the barber, he said, if you really want the girl, what you got to do is you got to get him good with the father. So he went down to McDowell's, got a job, and he's mopping the floor, and the father didn't want to have nothing to do with him. He thought he was so crazy that he said, I'm going to tell you this once, and I'm going to tell you one time only. If you want to continue working here, stay off the drugs. You see, but he didn't realize that he was a prince. But when he realized he was the prince, and King Joffrey Joffrey came, and one of the servants gave Mr. McDowell some of that money. And he said, baby, he told his wife, he said, baby, I mean, this boy's even got his own money. And he said, and remember, he was in love with Darryl. I mean, Darryl could do nothing wrong. See, Darryl was the light-skinned, good-looking guy. He was like Saul. I mean, he had the Jerry curl, clean cut. sheep herder. See, but this is why we have to be careful when we base things on what they look like. See, David didn't look like a king. Because when they came and they anointed, and when they came to anoint him, they looked around and said, listen, you got to have some other sons, but there ain't no way in the world. Am I telling the right reverend? They said, ain't no way in the world that this is supposed to be the king. Not this little scrawny guy who just came out. See, but we get it twisted a lot of times because we perceive things based on what they look like. See, that guy looked like he was good for you. But when you got to realize what was in his heart, you realize that joker wasn't no good. You realize that joker was a user. He was an abuser. Some friends you got in your life, they look like. They look like they got your back. But when you found out the real truth, you found out they was talking about you, you found out they was telling all your business. You see, David didn't look like a king, but he became a great king. Saul looked like a king, but he became a terrible king. It's kind of quiet in here. You see, everybody that looks the part on the outside isn't really cut for the part on the inside. Saul looked like the king. He was this tall, handsome guy. So they didn't have no problem with making him the king. And the truth be told, when you go back to chapter 9, you realize that God's intent was never even for the people to have a king. Amen. Amen. God's intention was not for the people, for his people to be like the world's people. Amen. See, this is why we got to be careful when we want what the world has. Yeah. And you got to understand that if you ask God for something long enough, he may just give it to you. They had been begging and bugging for a king for so long that God said, guess what? You know what? I'm going to give you what you asked for. Go ahead, keep on asking for things that God doesn't intend for you to have. Things you've been praying for year and year and year. There's probably a reason why God hasn't given it to you, because it is not intended for you to have. But keep on pressing God about it. Keep on pressing him about it, and you may just get exactly what you asked for. But you're going to turn around and realize that it wasn't good for you. Saul was sent out to find his father Kish's donkeys that were missing. Give you a backdrop of the story. So Saul and one of his father's servants go out to find the donkey. They're going all around, find the donkeys, and they couldn't find the donkeys. So they run across someone, and they say, well, have you seen or talked to Samuel? There's a man of God who can basically tell you anything about yourself or anything that you're looking for. Because anything that comes out of his mouth is truth. So Saul was reluctant about seeing Samuel, but he ended up seeing Samuel. Saw Samuel, and Samuel had some choice words for him, some words that Saul probably wasn't expecting himself. go retrieve his donkeys. Saul did the prophet did tell him, don't worry about the donkeys are found. But there's something else in your path. God is going to have you lead his people. Now, no, this was something that the people had really set up, and not God or Saul. It was something that the people had begged for, and God says, you know what? Since they keep rejecting, what they're really doing is rejecting me. See, when you press against something and you just want something so bad that God isn't giving to you, what you're really doing is you're rejecting God's will. I think I'm talking to somebody today. I believe that there's somebody in here on today that has been pressing for something. You've been pressing for something for so long, and you've been almost mad with God because you can't get it. It's been at the tip of your tongue. You've been wanting it so bad, and God has been rejecting it. But I came to give you a warning. You better look at something else. Look at another house. Look on another car lot. Look for another company. Look for another man. Look for another woman, because where you are is where God doesn't want you to be. Saul tells him he's getting ready to lead God's people. He's getting ready to be anointed king over Israel. So he gets back to the house where he's going to be brought out before the people. And his uncle's looking for him. His father's brother's looking for him, and he said, where is he? And where he is, he's hiding in his baggage. He's hiding amongst luggage. He's hiding among supplies. He's hiding among things. And I realized as I was studying this week, I realized that we are not too far different from Saul. When it comes to God, when it comes to God's purpose in our lives, and when God is getting ready to take us to do something that we're not prepared for, something that we haven't asked for, something that we think that we're not ready to do, what we do is we hide amongst the baggage. First type of baggage that we hide amongst is people. We hide amongst the baggage of people. What do you mean by that, preacher? You know that there are some people in your life that are no good for you. Amen. What do I mean? I know this sounds harsh. I know it sounds harsh. You know that there are people in your life that have been using you, that have been abusing you, who you know are not ready to go to where God is getting ready to take you, but you keep trying to hold on to these people just because you've known them all this time. And God is saying, you've got to come to the point, to the realization that you've got to let some of these people go because they are just baggage for you. See, we feel bad. We feel that we think that we have to take everybody where we're of people. Some of us are walking around with so many bags of people. You've got luggage and bags with people in it. Not there ain't clothes in there. You walk around with bags with people in it. They're using you. They're living off of you. You go on vacation, they going on vacation. You pay Central Hudson, they soaking up your Central Hudson. You walk around with baggage, with luggage, with people in it. Go ahead, you've got to come to the point where you've got to say the free ride's got to stop. Amen. You're not going to be living and mooching off of me forever. And if you're going to feel some kind of way, then go ahead and feel your kind of way. But I'm on to a new destination. Amen. So number one, we got the baggage of people where we hide. Number two is the baggage of professions. Sometimes we hide in the baggage of what we do in our work. Sometimes we get so caught up and so consumed with doing, with working and going and coming and working 80 hours a week and doing this and doing that, we never even have time for God.
Well, you tell the truth.
Sometimes we don't even have time to pray. We don't have time to read our Bibles. We don't have time to study. We don't have any time for intimacy with God. And how in the world is God going to instruct you for your next destination if you ain't talking to him? I know this ain't no hollering message. I'm talking about mental health. Because I want us to get our minds right. See, before God can utilize us to our full potential, we've got to first get our mind right. See, because the body follows the mind. The body doesn't do anything that the mind doesn't tell it to do. Even Michael Jordan himself, who was arguably the greatest basketball player in the history of the world, they used to always interview him and tell him, how do you do all these amazing things? You're just so spectacular at basketball. You know what he told him? He said, the game of basketball is 90% mental. It's only 10% physical. You know the reason why I can do the things that these other guys can't do? Because their mind doesn't allow them to think that they can do it. You see, sometimes the reason why we can't go to the next level, the reason why we can't do the things that God is calling us to do is because our minds trap us. We get trapped in our limited mind, and God says, listen, I want you to do this. Well, God, no, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. I'm not big enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not left enough. I'm not right enough. I'm not Republican enough. I'm not Democrat enough. I don't really know what to do. And God is saying, I don't need you to know. I need you to stop thinking, and I just need you to move. I need you to follow direction. We get so caught up and trapped up in what we can do and what we've been able to do. And God is saying, I need you to obliviate. I need you to let that hard drive crash. You know how we get all crazy and frazzled if our computer loses the hard, and we lose all of our gentle information and all of our prize photos and all of these things, and we should be. But from a spiritual perspective, sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's good when your hard drive is just destroyed. When you can just forget about everything from the past and start off new, so God can put a new operating system in you. So God can free up all that space so he can do some new things in you. But you still worried about that stuff from last year, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Baggage of our professions and what we do. See, it's not about what we can do, but it is more about what God can do through us. Stop worrying about your abilities or your disabilities. Don't worry about your ability or your disability, because the God says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. The strength doesn't come from you. You're not strong enough. The strength is in him. He enables you to. Number 3, last, and I'm going to take my seat and get out of your way, is the baggage of possessions. You have the baggage of people, the baggage of professions, and the baggage of possessions. I happened to look, I went into my garage to take out my motorcycle the other day, and I realized how much stuff I have. And I'm not trying to be funny, I'm being serious. How much stuff, how much possessions, how much stuff we have that we hiding, that literally distract us from doing the will and the work of God. We got stuff here, we got stuff there. I'm sure all of us got a closet full of stuff, shoes, socks, underwear. I mean, when you just think of writing pens, right? No, I'm being serious. I'm serious. These things, people in Africa would die for these things. For just writing pens. We have them all around. We just throw them, toss them. I got a delivery in my office today with about 15 pens. Possessions. We have so many things. Thing after thing, this, that, microwaves, cars. I mean, you name it, we have it. Tablets, cell phones, even little kids. I think a baby came to me today and said, "Gosh, I got my own phone now." She said, "Gosh, I got my own phone." I said, "I'll call you later." I think it was Gabby. Don't send me the voicemail either. But we have things on top of things, come on, am I talking to somebody today? And we're still accumulating things. Because I'm waiting for the new iPad to come out next week. I'm still accumulating things, possessions. We're never satisfied. How many, and you don't have to raise your hand, you don't even have to respond. How many people can truly, honestly say that you're completely satisfied with your possessions? That you don't need to buy anything else again? Yeah, that's what I thought. Baggage. I've realized that it's just baggage. It's baggage. They're just distractions. It's just baggage. That's all it is. It's just stuff. Stuff here, stuff there. Everything. You got stuff everywhere. And you know when you realize that you got too much stuff is when you move. Yes. You move, you say, I didn't realize I had all this stuff. Where all this stuff comes from? I mean, you got stuff everywhere. Yes. Stuff everywhere. Possessions. But what we do is we hide in these things. That's what we essentially do. We hide behind these things because they distract us. God is looking for us. God is seeking us. God wants us to do something more. He wants us to do more. He wants us to give more. He wants us to participate more. But we're hiding amongst the stuff that we have. We spend time with this stuff. And then we give God the back burner. I'm too tired because I've been on my phone all day. So then when I get ready to pray, I give God a half prayer. we turn around and reject him because of them. Huh? We reject God from the things that he's blessed us with. How do you think that made God feel? He says, I blessed you with all of this stuff. All these things, all these possessions you have, it was because of the breath that I put in your body. It's because of the health and the strength that I've allowed you to have to go to work and do the things that you do to possess these things. And now you turn around and only thing you got time is for these things and you don't even have time for me? Sometimes folk get a new car. God bless them with a new car. Before that, they had been taking a bus. They had been walking. They ain't missed service for nothing. God bless them with a car. You don't see them no more. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. You've been at the altar praying every week for God to bless you with something. And when God gives it to you, you turn your back on him. I've seen women pray for husbands or pray for their husband to come to church. The husband start coming to church, then she disappeared. You've been at the altar. I've been laying hands on you for 5 years for your husband to come to church. As soon as he show up, you stop coming. Or single women will pray for God to bless them with a man, and as soon as God bless them with a man, you can give up on God. No, see, God's intent wasn't to bless. God's intent was to bless you with a man to lead you and guide you closer to him, not away from him. If you get a man that's pulling you away from God, then he's not the man for you. Then you better off all by yourself. A man is supposed to, a man's supposed to be a godly man. A man who even when you don't want to wake up and go to church, you're going to say, no, you don't get your butt up, we going to church. I ain't sitting at home watching football all day. I watch the football game when I get home. But we got all these possessions, we got all these things, they got DVR. Listen, church, I watch the DVR when I get home. And the last time I was in financial trouble or any type of trouble or whatever, I could never call a football player for them to help me. But I tell you what I think, I can get on my knees and I can call on God, and God will hear my prayers, and God will answer my prayers. And no football player ain't never did nothing for me. He might have did something for you, but ain't no football player never did nothing for me. Guys get $30,000 checks every 2 weeks. They ain't never sent me 30 cents. Ain't never sent me a food stamp, nothing. Not a loaf of bread, not even a piece of bread. So my grandbaby, she won't get up here and preach. She won't be a preacher. You gonna help me preach this thing? But yeah, I'm just trying to help y'all. That's all. I'm not here to condemn you. That's not my intent. My intent is not to condemn, but my intent, when God put this thing on my heart on mental health, I realized there are so many aspects that we have to deal with just with mental health. And we have mental health professionals here, and I realize that sometimes, when you're dealing with people, sometimes we think, we end up, people are baggage to us because they think that they're mental health experts. I think I just said a mouthful. If you got a friend that's always calling you up about their problems every darn week, then you need to tell them, no, you need to go consult with a mental health expert. I know y'all church folk don't believe in that. Some of y'all don't believe in the doctors either. Because you think you can just come to the altar And God's going to take care of everything. But that's why he blessed doctors to have the knowledge that they have. That's why he blessed mental health experts to deal with these things. And sometimes we get too deep, we get too spiritual, and then we end up suffering because we become too deep. We get too deep. Story about a man, and I'm going to close on this. A story about a man who was stranded on an island, and he prayed to God. He was all by himself, and he prayed to God. He had been out there for several months. He kept praying to God, God, please, can you rescue me? I ran out of food. I ran out of supplies. I ran out of resources. I ran out of everything. And he turns around, and there was a man on a little lifeboat that came, and he said, listen, I'm here to rescue you. And the man said, no, that's all right. I don't need your help. I prayed to God, and God's going to come rescue me out of my situation. There for a few weeks longer, and he's praying, and he's praying, and he's praying. He's saying, God, I need you to come rescue me. I still don't have any supplies. I don't have anything. I really don't want to die out here on this island. So another man comes, and he's on a bigger boat, and he reaches over to get the man. He's at the tip of the island, and the young man says, no, sir, I don't need your help. I prayed to my God, and my God's going to come rescue me. A few more days go by, the man is praying, and he's praying, and he's praying. I mean, and he's fasting and praying, and he's fasting only by default because he ain't had no food. Some of y'all will get that on the way home. But he's praying, and he's fasting. He ain't got no food. He ain't got nothing. And he prays to God. He says, God, can you please, this is my last plea. If you don't help me this time, I don't know if I'm even going to believe in you anymore. So a helicopter comes down, man, reels the steps down from the helicopter and yells down as the propeller's going. And he says, sir, we're here to help you. We're here to rescue you. And he says, no, I'm good. I prayed to God, and my God is coming to rescue me. The helicopter goes off. The guy dies of starvation, and he gets to heaven. And he says, God, what happened? I've been praying to you. Prayed to you for months and months. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no food. I didn't have nothing. And, you're supposed to be my God. I thought you was going to come rescue me. He says, listen, I sent somebody in a rafter. I sent somebody in a boat. And I sent somebody in a helicopter. And you turned them all away. Don't be consumed by the baggage of people. Don't be consumed in hiding in the baggage of your profession. And don't get consumed or hide among the baggage of your possessions. Amen? I believe that God is calling each and every one of us to a higher dimension. God wants more from you. And I believe if we come out of our hiding place, if we hide from these things, if we detach ourselves from these people that are pulling us back and just trust God and allow Him to be the head of our life, to be that divine direction, that divine GPS in our life, I can guarantee you from experience, I'll tell you that He won't fail you. Come on and give God some praise.